Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is right now. That way, YouTube keeps showing you stories like this one. This happened in November 2021, when I was working the night shift at a small gas station off Highway 17. I'd only been there about 2 weeks, still learning the ropes, but the job wasn't hard. Just quiet. Too quiet sometimes. We closed the inside at midnight, but the pump stayed on for card payments, so I'd mostly sit inside the booth sipping cheap coffee, watching cars drift in and out of the fog. It was a little after 2:30 a.m. when I first noticed him. A guy in a red hoodie walking slowly across the lot from the direction of the woods. No car, no bag, no reason to be there at that hour. He didn't even look up when the motion light flicked on. Just kept walking with his hands deep in his pockets. At first, I thought maybe his car had broken down on the highway. So I opened the door a little and called out, "Hey man, you okay? Need some help?" He stopped, didn't turn, didn't answer, just stood there. Something about that stillness hit me in the gut, like every instinct in me was saying, "Do not step outside." So I locked the door and went back behind the counter. When I looked up again, he was gone. I figured maybe he cut through the back of the building, so I checked the cameras. There he was, standing at pump 4, staring directly into the camera. His face hidden by the hood, but his body completely still, just facing the lens like he knew I was watching. I grabbed the phone to call my manager, but before I could even dial, the lights flickered, once, twice, and then the monitor feed went black. The station was dead silent. I tried to shake it off, telling myself it was just a glitch, maybe the wind or the old wiring. But when I turned toward the window again, he was right there, just a few feet from the glass, his breath fogging the pane. I jumped back so hard the chair tipped over. He lifted his hand, slow, and pressed something against the window. A Polaroid photo. The picture showed a man standing inside the same gas station booth. Only, it wasn't me. Different shirt, different face. But behind that man, through the window, was the same figure in the red hoodie staring in. Before I could even process what I was seeing, headlights swung into the lot. A delivery truck pulling in early. When I turned back, the man was gone. The photo slid down the glass and fell into the puddle outside. The driver got out, asking if I was okay. I just nodded, trying to sound normal. We checked the cameras again, but every recording between 2:30 and 2:44 a.m. was corrupted. Static. I quit that job 2 days later. Sometimes, when I drive past that station late at night, I still glance toward pump 4. The light there flickers every few seconds, like it's trying to remind me I was never really alone that night. It was August 2019, and I'd just started my summer job working nights at a 24-hour gas station off Route 63. Most nights were the same, a few truckers, a couple of locals grabbing beer, and hours of silence broken only by the buzz of the fluorescent lights. But this one night was different. Around 1:15 a.m., a white van pulled up to the farthest pump. No logos, no windows on the sides, just a beat-up van that looked like it hadn't been washed in years. The driver didn't get out. He just sat there, engine off, lights on, facing the road. At first, I figured maybe he was just checking his GPS or sleeping it off, so I didn't think much of it. But an hour later, he was still there. No movement, no door opening, just there. I stepped outside to dump the trash near the pumps, and that's when I noticed the van was empty. Driver's seat, passenger seat, everything. But the engine was running. My first thought was that someone had gone inside to use the restroom, so I walked around the corner to check. The bathroom lights were off. The door was slightly open, creaking in the wind. Inside, the air smelled wrong, metallic, sour, like blood that had dried hours ago. There was a jacket crumpled on the floor, and next to it, a tape recorder, the kind old reporters used. I pressed play. At first, static. Then a man's voice calm, slow, almost rehearsed. "If anyone finds this, please don't come looking." It's already inside the van. I froze. My hand went cold around the recorder. Then, from outside, the van door slammed shut. I ran back toward the counter, heart hammering so hard it felt like it was shaking the glass. Through the window I could see movement in the van now, just a silhouette shifting from seat to seat, like someone pacing inside a tight space. I called 911 immediately. The operator told me to stay inside, lock the doors, and wait. It took the sheriff's department 22 minutes to arrive. When they did, the van was still idling, doors locked, windows fogged from the inside. They broke the driver's side glass, and I'll never forget the deputy's face when he opened the back. No one was inside, but the entire interior was coated in muddy handprints, hundreds of them, layered over each other like someone had been clawing to get out. The van was towed away that morning. No one ever came to claim it. But about a week later, I came in for my shift and noticed something scratched into the counter near the register. Just one word: listen. And when I opened the drawer for my pen, there it was, that same old tape recorder. Only this time, the tape inside was blank. This happened back in February 2020, when I was working the evening shift at a small gas station just off I-75. We closed the inside at midnight, but I usually stayed till around 1 to finish cleaning and paperwork. Most nights were uneventful, maybe a drunk customer or two, but nothing serious. Then one night, this guy came in. Mid-30s, thin, messy hair, wearing a gray jacket that looked a size too big for him. He walked straight up to the counter without grabbing anything and said, "You're here every night, right?" His tone wasn't friendly, just curious in a way that didn't feel right. I forced a laugh and said, "Yeah, pretty much," while pretending to check the coffee machine just to break eye contact. He kept standing there, not moving, not smiling, just watching me. Finally, he said, "It must be lonely out here." And then he left without buying a thing. I told myself he was harmless. But he started coming back every night around the same time. Never bought anything, just talked, or rather asked questions. "Do you live nearby? What time do you leave? Anyone else here with you?" It got to the point where I started locking the doors early, pretending we were closed. But he'd just stand outside, staring through the glass, smiling. One night, around 12:40, I was sweeping the floor when I noticed his car parked across the street, lights off. He wasn't coming in, just sitting there, watching. I tried calling the police, but by the time they arrived, the car was gone. They told me to report it if he came back. Spoiler, he did. A few nights later, I was taking trash out back when I heard footsteps behind the dumpster. I froze. Then I saw him, half hidden, crouching, like he'd been waiting. He stood up slow, still wearing that gray jacket, and said, "You shouldn't walk out here alone." I ran inside, slammed the door, and called the police again. This time, they found tire marks behind the store. Same car model from before. I switched to day shifts after that. But even now, sometimes when I work a late cover shift, I still see a gray car idling near the edge of the lot. Just far enough that I can't make out the face behind the windshield. The lights never turn off. It just waits. If you've ever worked a night shift, you know that silence isn't always peaceful sometimes. It's a warning. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment where you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. And remember, if you ever stop for gas in the middle of the night and something doesn't feel right, trust your gut. Because some things and some people don't disappear when you drive away. Sleep well, if you can.